Okay, for week one, we're going to talk about the importance of water and being fully hydrated and walking, and why these are the only things you're going to focus in week number one. All the information I'm providing right now can be found in the book, Your Body's Many Cries for Water, which I highly recommend. And then I'm going to add my own personal experience implementing this. For the last 10 years, the only thing I drink is water. I will drink tea occasionally, but the only liquid I like to consume is water because that is the most hydrating liquid. In order to make you a fan of water like I am, I'm going to be covering some of the points made in the book, and I think it'll get you just as excited as I am of why water is important. In his experience, he's treated over 3,000 people. He believes, and there's plenty of research in the book if you're so inclined, that chronic dehydration is the root cause of most major diseases. So his idea is, before you start giving people prescription medications, why don't you rule out the most simple thing to fix, which is dehydration, by giving the person water. And if the person does not improve, then and only then start exploring medical routes. Again, it stems from a big change in a paradigm. The current paradigm, which is the one that he's looking to change, is that it's the solution, meaning the hormones, the nutrients, the minerals that cause everything and that are important, as opposed to the solvent being the solution, the medium in which these nutrients are. What he's saying is that it's just the other way around, that the solvent, the water content, is what actually regulates and determines how the body uses the solids in the solvent. So again, we're talking about the hormones, the nutrients, the minerals. The way the body uses them depends on the quality and the quantity of the solvent. And now we're going to go some of the things that he's treated using just water as the main treatment. First of all is pain. He believes that chronic pain of the body that cannot be easily explained is usually, and it's not an infection, is usually chronic dehydration in that area. In other words, a local thirst. That's why drinking water can make these pains go away. And also, over-the-counter painkillers can cause liver and kidney damage. An interesting point is that Dr. Batman, I'm going to call him Dr. Batman, treated successfully over 3,000 cases of dyspeptic pain with only water, and he treated them successfully. Now, the prescription drug for it is cimetidine, which is pretty rough on the body, but using only water, he was able to remove the pain, and this is what led to over 30 years of research on his part to study water and its role in the body. So the most important thing that we're going to learn to implement it on ourselves, if you're healthy and if you're not and you're trying to recover, same thing, is drinking water 30 minutes before a meal and then 2 hours after a meal. Why? Because within 30 minutes of drinking water, assuming there's nothing else in your stomach, right? So before your meal, it will pass through the intestines and the body will deposit an equal amount of water, which serves as a solvent, into the stomach, ready for food breakdown. This reminds me of my time at SEER School. SEER School is the Navy's survival, evasion, resistance, and escape school. And during the survival phase, they were very quick to mention that you can only eat as much solid food as you have ingested water, meaning there is a relation to the amount of food you can consume tied into the level of water that you actually have. So if you're chronically dehydrated and you get rescued and they just serve a feast, you could not actually eat all that food. And if you were, it would actually be bad for you. And going down the list of things that are affected by chronic dehydration, Alzheimer's. In his research, he's found out that the primary cause of Alzheimer's is chronic dehydration of the body. Now, he also mentions the aluminum, but again, Dehydration is something that you can address right now and fix easily within 3 to 5 days. He moves on to arthritis pain. He says that a well-hydrated cartilage, in such a cartilage, the rate of friction between joints is minimal. However, in a dehydrated cartilage, the rate of abrasive damage is greatly increased. And hydration is how the joint then is able to take the nutrients in the blood and deliver it to the joints. When you're dehydrated, there's a process of inflammation around the joints, and it does not have this nutrient-giving capability that a well-hydrated joint has. Another interesting thing, and he talks about different types of pain, and when he mentions lower back pain, is that you need your body to be fully hydrated for certain exercises to work. So in my case, joint mobility. That's why this first week, all I want you to focus on is water and walking. In order for joint mobility to work, your body needs to be fully hydrated. And I like his explanation because a lot of the times the way that you're going to get water into the joints is by a certain vacuum effect. But if your body is not hydrated, then this mobility work will not have this a vacuum effect. And again, it ties into the nutrients and all that stuff. So joint mobility works best in a well-hydrated body. That's why this first week, it's all about hydration and walking. Another very interesting case in point is that when the body becomes dehydrated, the physiological processes that happen are exactly the same as if your body were to be under stress. So the way he says it, dehydration equals stress to the body. Your body is reacting physiologically when you're dehydrated the same as if you were under stress. Very interesting here is tumors. Now he mentions in his research that chronic dehydration in the body is the primary causative factors for tumor production. And of course, there's plenty more, whether you have an acid or alkaline environment. But before you fix your diet into full alkaline mode or any other thing like that, it's very easy to fix chronic dehydration. And that's why I'm addressing it first. Blood pressure. His explanation, which again is a couple of pages, I am just synthesizing it for you so you can gain the importance of what's going on, is that your body regulates, the blood pressure by either dilating or constricting the blood vessels based on blood volume. So what happens when you're dehydrated? You have decreased blood volume. So what do you think the body does in order to guarantee perfusion, which is the dissipation of blood, the transportation of blood to all its tissues? So if you had a blood vessel normally like this, and now you have half the amount of solvent in it, what does the blood vessel have to do? It's got to constrict. Just like if you have a water hose with low pressure, you put your thumb on the top so that the stream will reach farther. That is the same thing that your body is doing. That's why diuretics, which lower the blood volume even more, are not the right solution. Again, what we're saying is rule out chronic dehydration first before you go into meds and prescription medicines, because prescription medicines do not cure. They only treat symptoms. And that symptom relief is associated with liver and kidney damage. A very other interesting point is cholesterol. If you do not drink water before you eat, and specifically 30 minutes before you eat, then the process of digestion will take its toll on the cells of the body. Same as my friend Stephen Santangelo mentions on enzymes. If the food you eat does not have enzymes, then you will need to deplete your body's own store of natural enzymes in order to digest that food. That is why the ideal food should have an overabundance of enzymes to not only digest that food, but to have a surplus of enzymes in the body. And again, water is the most essential element for digesting food. Now we move on to walking, and we're going to come back to water again. But he lays out, how there's a hormone-sensitive fat-burning enzymes in the body that become active after you engage in a 1-hour walk, and they will remain active for 12 hours. These enzymes also help to lower cholesterol. So his premise is that walking twice a day, that means every 12 hours, will maintain the activity of this hormone fat-burning lipase throughout the day and night, and it will help to clear away excess lipid deposits in the arteries. And again, walking, I've also found, is very important for eliminating lower back pain. Now, he talks about the vacuum effect, but for example, if you travel a lot, if you've been in a car or an airplane for 3 or 4 hours, at the end of the day, your lower back and sacrum might be a little bit tight. I have found that a 30-minute walk after being fully hydrated will make it go away naturally. And again, part of it is because you have this vacuum effect that's sucking in the water and pushing out all the waste materials, but also because you're turning on different enzymes, all right? Going on to cholesterol, he had a person go from 279 cholesterol to 203 without changing his diet by merely drinking water before his meals, because excess cholesterol is also the result of chronic dehydration. As far as losing weight, a big point is that people confuse the brain's signals for water as a desire for food. So drinking water 30 minutes before your meals can help you to accurately separate your body's signaling for water via thirst versus your body signaling for food, which is two separate signals and is satiated by two different needs. So people lost weight by drinking water before food because they were able to separate the two sensations. Something he doesn't mention there, but I think is very important, is brain fog. Around 2 p.m., a lot of people get tired, and that's when they go for coffee or caffeine. I found that drinking a couple of bottles of very cold water eliminates the brain fog and therefore eliminates the need for more caffeine at 2 p.m. Get the book because he gives a brilliant explanation with all the science of why diet sodas cause weight gain. Again, my sole form of hydration is water. Now, how do we do it? Here's the whole thing you got to do. You're going to drink 1 to 2 glasses of water 30 minutes before your meal, and then you're going to drink 1 to 2 glasses of water 2 hours after your meal. That's how you handle this whole hydration business. Also, when I wake up, the very first thing I do is I drink 2 large glasses of water. So if you wake up, drink 2 large glasses of water, and then you try your water intake timing it along with your meals, you should find that in 3 days, you're fully hydrated. And a way to tell if you're hydrated is that a well-hydrated person produces colorless urine. If your urine is clear, that means you're hydrated. If it's yellowish, not so much. And if it's orange or dark brown, you're really dehydrated. And that is a very quick way to see where you are today, and by following this program, when you will be fully hydrated. And that basically is the gist of why water and walking are so important and how they can address chronic dehydration so that when we move on to joint mobility in week 2, you're going to be ready and able to have the maximum benefits from it. Thank you very much.